with, and I don't want to sound like a grumpy old guy, but at the risk of sounding like a grumpy old guy,
That's all right.
When I see, kind of the players of what I kind of call the YouTube generation, because many learn on, in their rooms, on YouTube, and there's nothing wrong with that, but one of the things that I see is, I mean, just tremendous talent, and tremendous technique, but that doesn't always translate to a gig, and thankfully for me, I kind of came up in the age where the internet was just getting started, and that's when I was learning to play, but I was still learning to play in church, in a community setting. So when I always could play single lines fast, that's something that kind of came naturally to me, but it was funny because some of the church members were very honest with me, thankfully, about how much that didn't matter, and I remember him saying, sitting me down and saying, Brother Wilson, we're really happy that you have such facility on the instrument, but it's beginning to sound a little like patterns. It's just we're not really hearing the melody. And these are not musicians. These are just church members that had my best interest at heart. They were like, right. It sounded just like you just playing a lot of patterns, just running up and down the guitar. I went home. I was like, huh, that's, that really kind of left an imprint on me, and I'm not sure, because in this generation, when somebody gets famous on social media for playing, I mean, just blinding technique or doing something really cool,
you can't tell them nothing.
Can't tell them nothing.
That's facts.
And that scares me a little bit for the development. I mean, just thinking like how great they could become, because like so many of them are starting at a point that some of us couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
And it just it kind of sucks to see them not receive that same instruction. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. So I'm 46.
Mm-hmm.
And I think folks that are a little younger than me, and then folks that are a little bit older than me, maybe, I don't know, maybe a 20 year radius or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a certain kind of advantage that we have that the folks that are learning how to play now and the folks that are, say, I don't know, 25 and younger, maybe older than that and younger, that they're not going to be able to benefit from. See, the way that I learned, there was skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the skin was, if you wanted a recording, you had to buy it.
Right.
You had to go get it. And then, because it cost you something, you burnt that record out.
Yeah.
You burnt the recording out. You listened to it over and over and over. You invited your friends over. You got a pizza or something. Hey, man, I got the new Coltrane. Or, hey, man, I got the new, whatever it was, right? Got the new Kenny Garrett joint, and you would burn a hole in the recording, quite literally. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was that became more of a permanent part in, it's like soaking, it's the difference between chicken strips with barbecue sauce on them,
yes,
and meat that's been marinating overnight.
Yeah. let the flavor get all in the.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's different. This is a different thing, right? So you may be able to fool people by having certain technical issues worked out, but eventually, what's really inside is going to show.
yeah. Well, when you get
and
in a real situation,
Right.
like I'm sure you remember like learning entire albums, you know, and that's the thing I try to recreate with my students, you know, and you know, it's cool, and I have some, you know, it's like students that kind of range in their abilities, but you know, with a lot of the and no matter what level they're on, you know, we learn entire albums together, you know. What, you know, I'm like, pick an album you like, we're gonna learn the thing from top to bottom.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? And it's cool because they can still they can go along with their interest, but you know, it kind of pushes them a little further. Like, this is not just something you can just listen to passively. This is something you have to really get inside the arrangement. You know, you have to learn the melody, you have to learn the story behind the song. Like, I remember sitting down and learning Light as a Feather, the Return to Forever album, you know, song by song, and just like I remember taking apart Spain note by note, just like rewinding, boop boop, you know. I'm like, oh, I gotta go back, boop boop, bit go back, boop boop, bit you know, and just like, you know, just the painstaking process. And it's kind of similar to with stand-up comedians. No matter how big they get, you know, the process of coming up with new material is still the same. They still have to go back to some of the crappy comedy clubs they came up in and work out their material.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Chris Rock said it the best. He's like, you know, when I go work out my new material, I go by myself. Like, anybody that's going with an entourage, you know, is not coming to work out. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are worth like multi-billions, you know, and they still have to come back. And if they want to, you know, maintain that muscle, they have to go back to square one every time. That's humbling, man.
It certainly is.